Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to John Remo Presents the Show. I am John. I am joined by everyone's candle-making maniac. OJ's here.
Hello, everyone.
Are
Good
you
day.
here, OJ? There you are.
Yeah, I'm right here. Didn't go anywhere.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Had a pretty good day.
I've been talking to you since last week, I think. Had a nice week?
Yeah, it went pretty well. I got a good amount of stuff done, and I'm pretty satisfied with my week.
Nothing illegal? All right,
Yeah, nothing
just
illegal.
skip ahead here.
Okay.
So, the show's now available for download.
Yep.
Everyone knows it. Everyone's doing it. It's the latest craze. They're passing it along to each other like an STD. Swapping fluids.
Oh, dude.
I don't know what I'm talking
I'm
about.
just picturing somebody downloading it to a USB memory stick, putting it in their mouth, and then like kissing somebody,
No, no.
transferring it that way, and that's
That's not what you're
gross,
supposed to
dude.
do. That's not what you're supposed to do
I
with it.
know you'll ruin the mini SD card or
You're
whatever.
supposed to download it, you spread the disease by showing it to your friends and family and sending it all over the place. To countries that don't even speak English, you show it to them as well.
Yeah, it's been shown to them as well.
It has?
Well, at least people have gone to our
Stats.
website.
You're the stats, man. What do you got?
You want to see it? Okay.
No, no, no. Don't go crazy. I'm just
Don't go crazy, but I mean, we've got people who listen to us in all sorts of countries.
all sorts of countries.
Yeah, people. Well, most of the people who visit our sites are from the U.S., Great Britain, Canada, and Australia,
Well,
followed
that
by
makes sense.
Sweden, Germany, Slovenia, the Netherlands, and European country.
European country. That's my favorite one.
Yeah. And
Well,
then
we love all of our viewers. Are much loved, and we appreciate it. We
Mhm.
hope that they continue to spread the disease. I'm trying to come up with a better catchphrase than that, but that's what we're going with right now.
Yeah.
Spread that disease, spread it around, and the true intention of the show. People wonder, are you guys trying to break into radio, or what are you trying to do? It's to take over the world, actually. So
Is it-
that's the real intention.
Don't you think it's a little early to reveal that? I mean,
It's okay. We're so full of confidence and arrogance that we just tell people what we're going to do.
that is
World
a good
domination's coming.
watch
So-
for it.
Continue to spread it around. Appreciate
Mm-hmm.
that. We have some news and notes. I want to plug my friend Hazard. He's the dude that made the show logo that people stare at for several hours every week when we put this on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/ihazard. And that's spelled IHAZZ3RI. YouTube.com
Wow, I
slash
kept reading that wrong.
iHazard.
Yeah, I read that as
And,
I read that as I has Eri like the Metal Slug character, but
That's
go on.
because your games have rotted your brain,
Yes.
and that's all you can associate with any. Well, that's another show. It's a whole other topic. We have Dr. Drew on to talk about that. But I also want to thank anyone that's ever made art for the show, including Vossels, another dude that's done it,
Don't forget the pumpkin, man.
and Ninja Pumpkin as well.
That guy's my hero.
And if anyone else wants to contribute art, please do so. Just send me a message. We had a guy last week. He just linked me to his DeviantArt account, and I just put some of the pictures up. And so a call to artists. If you have art, submit it. Doesn't even have to be about us or the show or anything. Just stuff you want to show people. Throw it out there. I'll put like your DeviantArt account or whatever you have, whatever you want to plug in the description. So maybe people check that out. I don't know.
Yeah.
One more thing. We have our first giveaway on the show.
Oh.
I have a code, a PSN code for Batman Arkham City. You get the Batman Beyond skin.
Oh, seriously? That's pretty
This is
sweet.
this is provided by Play and Trade in Danbury. Provided with this code. So this is for the PSN. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to read out the code, and whoever is first to input it into their system, they're going to be the one that wins and gets it.
Wow.
So the code is G5 C2 E3 N3 RH66.
You guys
That's
are
the code.
pretty lucky that I don't have a PlayStation 3.
Well, you would have stolen the code for the viewers?
No, but it is fun to joke.
So that was provided me to. I actually probably would have stolen it myself, but I got the game for the 360. So, but you have, if you want the Batman Beyond skin for Arkham City on the PS3, throw that code in. And thank you from Play and Trade Danbury for that. I'm looking to do something with them this week, actually, some sort of new series or something. I don't know. We'll see. Just stay tuned to the channel, and we'll find out. And Moving on, this is actually the Halloween special, OJ.
Yes.
Are you excited about this?
Very excited.
We got a very interesting show lined up today. I expect you to be chugging candy corn the entire time.
You know what? I couldn't find candy corn at the grocery store. I'm freaking out. I want candy corn, fresh candy corn, and I can't find it.
It's because no one likes it. They stopped making it.
I like it. I found some last year, a month after Halloween, and it went bad.
It was already bad when you bought it, sir.
Well, there's only 3 bags that might in existence, like since the 50s, which might explain why I can't find it. But still,
If people actually liked it, they would buy it all year. It wouldn't just be available for 2 weeks of the year.
you know, I like candy corn. I just don't like the candy corn pumpkins. You have
Right.
to have the triangle shape. It just makes it taste better.
So we'll get your thoughts on this, but I want to say Halloween is my second favorite holiday. It's behind Christmas. Christmas, you get better stuff. You get more gifts. Obviously, it's the best. Nothing better than that Christmas morning. But Halloween's great, and it gets a bad rap because you have all these uptight people going on about how it's it's satanic and it's evil and all this shit. But here's the deal: what other holiday do people just open up their doors and allow anyone to show up at their door and they give them things? That sounds like a pretty nice thing, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I never really thought of it that way, but even more so than Christmas, it promotes like community togetherness and stuff.
Yeah,
You
there's no
send
other
your
day.
small children out into the dark, cold night, trusting your neighbors to give them candy.
Right. What other day of the year can you just go up to? If you just go right now to all your neighbors' doors, just knock on the door and say, "Give me something," they'll be pretty upset.
Well, yeah,
It's one
except
magical special day. You can do that.
well, I do have pretty awesome
Very-
neighbors, but yeah,
Okay. Well, if you show up at the door, they might be extra afraid.
they
But
want me to leave.
so I don't know. I never got that whole thing. I mean, there is some debauchery and some terrible things that go on, in certain
Yeah.
situations. But the heart of it's pretty. It's a pretty nice theme.
Yeah, I mean, aside from a few delinquents running around doing crazy stuff, it's pretty good.
Yes.
Don't let the minority ruin it for the majority.
Exactly. So we have several comments, many comments, more than several, many comments were posted. These are Halloween-esque comments. Let's get to them the way only OJ can. Let's do it. Read them off.
All right. This is from, oh gosh, I should remember how to pronounce this. Tlatoanitzcoatl.
Okay.
This is, did you ever dress up for Halloween? If so, who or what did you dress up as? I never did, but being a foreigner, I never really got that holiday.
I can understand if you're a foreigner, you probably have no understanding of what the hell Halloween is, and it probably seems very strange to you. And I'm sure a lot of things that go on in the U.S. seem strange to a lot of people in other countries.
Yeah.
But it's a fun time, and what have you dressed up as? You dress up when it's not even Halloween.
Yes. This
Well, I guess
is also
let's
true.
try to confine it just to Halloween, not to other holidays.
Well,
What do you
okay.
dress up as?
Well, for Halloween, what's funny is Halloween. I was in Japan for Halloween one year, and the year prior, I had or 2 years prior, I had a Mario costume, but I didn't want to bring the entire thing with me to Japan, so I just brought the Mario hat,
Yes.
so that I made myself, mind you. And it was pretty funny wandering around like at school that day wearing the Mario hat. I saw one person dressed up for Halloween that year, and it was some Japanese dude wearing a giant frog suit. I should have given him the Mario hat so he could have been Frog Mario, but hey.
Are you confident that was because of Halloween, or not just because that's how he dresses?
I'm pretty sure it was Halloween, but
This is Japan. I mean,
yeah, I don't want to know where that frog suit's been. But anyway, I've also dressed up as for Halloween. I remember when I was a little kid. This is kind of bad, but I got my mom to make me a wizard costume. I went as Merlin.
nice.
That was awesome.
Did you have a beard and stuff?
I didn't have a beard, but I had the pointy hat with the stars and moons on it. I really wish I knew where that was. That was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anything else? You really?
Well, when I was a little kid, I can't remember too much more aside from Caesar. But
yeah, I saw some of these comments, and it was hard for me to remember a lot of this stuff. It's strange.
yeah, you really have to think back. I mean,
It's only think about it's one day,
yeah, per year,
one
maximum.
day per year, and we're going back. You're trying to go back a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I've recycled a lot of costumes. Like I've been Dan Hibiki for Halloween. I've been Monarch Henchman number 24 for Halloween. A bunch of things, but
Do you go to like Halloween parties and stuff? That kind of thing. What do you do? with these
I mean, no one I know really does Halloween parties really that much.
right.
We're pretty chill and calm people most of the time. If we do crazy stuff, it's on the fly, like not with preparation or anything.
Right. I had well, I grew up in the '80s, so I had a lot of the '80s-esque costumes. These ones I can remember. My first one I remember is Lion-O.
Nice, dude.
My friend was Mumra.
Oh,
I was probably like in kindergarten or something, or I don't know. Yeah,
freaky
something like that.
Mumra or regular, normal looking Mumra?
No, here's the deal though. Like the costumes back then were completely different. I went to the Halloween store a couple days ago. The stuff you have now is like amazing compared to what we had, man. You basically had this outfit that was like vinyl, okay, and then you had a mask that was a paper mask with like a little string.
Yeah.
So it didn't look like anything that was supposed to be, but that's basically what it was. But now they have like amazing stuff, man.
Oh gosh, at work today, some people came in. They brought their kids who were dressed up to go trick or treating, and like there was an Optimus Prime with this crazy Optimus Prime getup. Someone who looked just like Strawberry Shortcake. I was honestly frightened. But the kids these days, they're spoiled, man. They get all this crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff, man. A lot better. And also, I was Skeletor as well to keep with the that theme of '80s stuff. And that was probably the same kind of costume with like the paper mask.
Mm-hmm.
I was Raphael. That was a cool one. I think I was there like 3 years in a row because the costume's expensive. Parents were like, "Yeah, this is like an investment. You're gonna wear that forever." But it actually had like a shell that you put over your head.
Wow.
And it didn't have any kind of mask. It just had the headband. So you just looked like an idiot because you were like, you looked like a guy with a fake turtle shell and a headband on.
It's still pretty sweet though if you're a kid, dude.
I was also Mario. There was a Mario mask that we found somewhere, maybe like Spencer's or something.
Brilliant.
It was like hot as hell in that mask. The nose would fill with sweat.
Oh, that's
that was
kind
the
of
part that
gross.
stuck out. And the last several years, like I don't. What I've been doing is like I do the door. People come to the house, I'll hand out the candy. So what I do is I'm always Jason.
Ah, nice.
It's basically a hockey mask and a fake machete.
That's pretty sweet.
The kids love it. Guys, questions?
Has anyone gotten scared of you doing that?
No, I think they like it. Like little kids, they kind of like to be scared a little bit on Halloween. I think
It's kind of in the
I
spirit
don't
of
do
things.
I don't do anything crazy. I don't like jump out the window and throw fake blood all over them or anything. It's just kind of like, I just answer the door and have the costume, and
That's pretty.
nobody gets hurt. It's all
Yeah.
good fun, man.
Just don't take a cleaver with you.
All right, so the next in the same line of questioning, next one's from Esme Beauty, and she says, "Guys, what's the best Halloween costume you ever wore? By the way, love the show. From your female viewer." Well, I think it's funny about this comment. She says from your female viewer, not from one of the female viewers. So she's assuming she's the only one,
She knows.
which is quite possible.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you very much for listening, and
Mhm.
we're gonna have to try to get more. Maybe we'll have to have some sort of woman-centric episode.
Yeah. If you got any
You have long,
advice,
you talk about like shampoo. You have like long hair. You talk about like shampoos or so. I don't know something. I don't know.
because nothing is more interesting than shampoo.
So, what is your best Halloween costume?
Well, aside from the wizard one when I was a little kid, the only one I can really remember right now is the Monarch Henchman 24 one that I built. I'm
was
just really
recent.
proud of it because it looked pretty effing sweet. Even though I look way more like Monarch Henchman number 23.
All right, my best costume was Kano
No
Mortal
way.
from Mortal Kombat.
Dude.
I was way into Mortal Kombat. This was like probably when the second game probably came out. Could have been the first game. I don't know. I was probably like 10 years old. And I wanted to be Kano, but they didn't have official costumes back then of like Mortal Kombat. There wasn't really any game-related costumes like there is now. It wasn't like a big deal. So I had to make a Kano costume. So what I did is I bought a lot of Terminator shit at that point, because that was a big deal.
Yeah.
But I got the Terminator middle eye thing. What it was is like it was like the metal part in the red eye, which is what Kano has,
Yeah.
and then you put makeup all around it. It looks really good,
Mm-hmm.
And then I wore like a white jumpsuit. I went around to trick or treat, and every door I went to, they were like, "Oh, you're the Terminator." I was like, "No, I'm fucking Kano. Shut up." Well, that was probably the best costume I ever had because there was a lot of effort into that,
Yeah. I mean, you really get a good feeling when you put a lot of effort into a costume or something.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Exactly. So what else we got here?
All right, this one is from DJ Milar. Hey, John and John. What was the most memorable Halloween experience you've ever had? Are there any cool stories about trick-or-treating or funny costumes you've seen to share with us? Were you even allowed to go out for Halloween? Or did you throw eggs in toilet paper? Thanks. Great show, guys.
That's what you did.
I didn't throw toilet paper. I ran from the morons with shaving cream.
So why don't you go first? Or did you any memorable Halloween experiences?
Memorable Halloween experience. Oh, gosh. You know?
This is interesting to me because we grew up in the same neighborhood, but I got there kind of after you.
Yeah, well...
So did anything go on before I don't know about that I need to know?
Not really. Honestly,
Sure.
I think my best Halloween experience was in college. Or the most memorable
Right.
one. There were two. One was Mario, but because my tall friend, skinny friend was Luigi. But I got a better one.
Do it up.
I was planning this one out for a long time. So a few months before Halloween, I decided I wanted to go as Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. So I basically grew out a goatee, a terrible, terrible goatee, and then bleached my hair.
Nice.
And what's hilarious, though, is that my goatee grew in the same color as my bleached hair, like, you know, kind of red-brown, which was awesome. And now it wasn't just the fact that I dressed up as that, but I printed lost dog posters and ran
Wow.
through the school handing them out, asking people if they'd seen my dog.
It's commitment.
Yeah, and then a friend of mine dressed as, I guess, Slash.
Next from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, you know, the hat and all and the long hair and
Okay,
stuff. But
right.
he whited out his face and like went as like undead Slash or something. So we got a friend to record us, and he would chase me down the hall after I talked with people asking about my lost dog for a while. I would shout zoinks and flee to the stairwell. That was fun.
Sounds terrible.
Thanks. Well, I'm not going to bother trying to find the videos now.
There's videos of this.
Maybe.
Please destroy those.
I'll do my best. What about you, man?
The stuff I remember the most distinctly was when I was like a tween. Is it okay to use that term? Tween?
I die a little inside
Like-
every time you say it, but go on.
I was like that. I was like 12 or 13, and or 11, 12, 13. I had a friend who lived in a more urban area of town.
Mhm.
A lot more houses like close together, you know, packed together, and just like roaming groups of kids, and all kinds of debauchery would ensue. You'd have like the egg wars, and
Ugh.
if someone gets punched, or someone's car window gets broken, or I wasn't involved in any of that stuff, but the group that I was with was more just enjoying watching the spectacle and the nonsense go on, But there was a lot of craziness. I remember there was a situation where this group of kids went to some girl's house. I think they went to school with her. They knew her.
Uh-oh.
So they ring the doorbell and she comes out and they just destroy her with shaving cream and eggs,
Aw.
while she's in her house, at the front door, So then of course her father comes running out and he's chasing whoever he sees. So he sees our group of people and we have to run. We have nothing to do with it. But just the usual suburban nonsense that goes on with Halloween, and that's the age. That's the age to do it.
Yeah.
If you're any older than that, then that's just terrible and pathetic. But
Yeah, you don't want to run around
at
as
that
like
point, it's fun.
yeah, you don't want to run around as like a 16-year-old chucking eggs at 10-year-olds. That's just terrible.
By the time I was 14, I was like, this is ridiculous. But I don't recommend everyone do anything like that. Or I didn't participate in anything terrible. So it's just the stuff you see,
Yeah. Oy.
All right, let's get rolling here. We got a lot to
Bam.
cut.
All right.
So it's coming from Flaming Weasel. It said, guys, if you had the money and willpower, how would you build your ideal haunted house? Mine would just be a replica of the hospital from Silent Hill 2, complete with the killer nurses and other Hell World portions. Happy Halloween. If I had that much money, I probably wouldn't be building a haunted house. But my idea would be there's a lot of cool haunted houses around, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're basically you follow a line.
Yeah.
You just walk through it's like a big line that just goes through a building. I always thought it'd be cool if you just let people loose and they could go where they wanted, and there's different levels to it, and you could go where you want to go,
Yeah. If
and you discover different things every time you go in.
Mhm.
You have to figure it out, how long people could stay and things like that.
Yeah. You don't want someone
Yeah,
just
make sure
hanging out
people-
there all night.
Yeah, people acting stupid, and who knows? God only knows what they'll do in there. But I think that'd be kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
I think for this.
Yeah, well, if I were going to do it, I think instead of going for more of a scary thing, I just want to try and make people doubt their own sanity, if possible. Like, I would build one where rooms would kind of move around, like doorways would kind of shift around and stuff. Things wouldn't be where you left them. You'd like walk into a room and there'd be nothing there, but you'd turn around and there'd be a table in the corner. Weird stuff like that. It would be incredibly hard to
Mess
pull
with their
off.
heads.
Yeah,
Psychological.
I mean, it would look like a regular haunted house from the outside, but when you got inside, like, you'd be like, oh no, look, boo, I'm a ghost. But as you got deeper, there'd be slight inconsistencies and really small, strange things. And by the end of it, they'd have to wonder what the heck just happened.
It's always fun to mess with people.
Yes.
All right, we got a question from Jittery User. Questions for the Halloween episode. If you were to be bitten by a zombie, would you wait to turn or rather off yourself beforehand?
Yeah.
I would say it depends on the situation. Do I have a chance to be turned back or not? Are there people around me maybe I dislike that maybe I want to turn and I can eat them? I don't know. What do you have?
Well, I'm very squeamish. I mean, assuming I wouldn't just faint to the ground after being bloodied or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if I'd have the guts to off myself unless it were really desperate. I haven't ever been in a situation like that, so...
Would you ask someone else to do it? Would you ask me to do it for you?
If it was a choice between that and maybe infecting you, I don't know, it might be the better option.
You would ask me to take you out?
Rather than bite you.
Do you think I would do it?
I don't know. That's deep, man.
Answer it.
Yeah, if we were in a zombie apocalypse and I asked you to shoot me in the head with a shotgun, I think you'd probably hit me over the head with the barrel and then toss me off a building because the ammo's too precious. Not saying you're a bad person. I'm saying you'd do the right thing, and I don't know what that is.
I would do that. I would kill you out of love. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, I just saw High School of the
Dead,
Dead,
how about
man,
this situation?
So.
How about this situation? What if I knew that you were going to turn, but you didn't believe it?
Ooh.
And I said, John, I have to kill you because you're going to turn. And you didn't know anything about this. You go, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? Would you trust me in that situation?
Whew. Well, oh, man. If I didn't believe you, that would be really tough, man. Oh, gosh. I'd probably insist you lock me in a closet and then put food in through a mail slot.
Well, at least that's something. That's a level of trust.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like, you gotta believe in yourself a little bit, but I would not discount your advice.
This was a trust test that I worked out with this guy, Jittery User, and you passed the test. So congratulations. You. If you were asked to make a horror movie, what will your killer's backstory be, and how will he kill people? Sort of Anbu Killer B Pro. You have anything? I got one.
I got one that's terrible, so maybe I should go first.
Do it up.
All right. So the killer in my case would be a failed comedian, author, or opinion writer or humor columnist, something like that. And he's basically it's not going to be quite the Joker. It's just going to be somebody who basically I could swear someone did this somewhere, but maybe it was a Joker story, but if you don't laugh at a pun that he tells, that's it. You're on the list. You're going to die. And then he would basically, try and tell them terrible, terrible puns. And then whatever way they were maimed and killed would involve plays on words the whole time. And if they laughed if they just laughed for the sake of, please don't kill me, your joke's hilarious, haha, that would make it worse.
Don't you tell a lot of puns, John?
Maybe.
You kind of make me worried with this one here.
Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Making me a little afraid. I'm not going to lie. But a pun-telling serial killer sounds good. It's as good as any other I've heard of.
Well, the goal is for it to be terrible.
My idea is a disgruntled porn star. I don't think this has ever been done before.
Oh, no.
Maybe he quite couldn't measure up, if you know what I'm saying, and he was rejected by the industry.
Oh, no.
And maybe he falls into a vat of latex.
I'm not sure I know where this is going.
And he has an arsenal of sex toys that are used as murder tools.
What is he, the inseminator?
What?
He's a porn star that kills people.
Yeah. He's disgruntled. He's upset. That was his dream. And then he falls in the latex and he burns his body and his latex grafted to his skin.
Wow.
And then now he has to murder because he's upset.
I'm trying to think of a tagline like, no matter what you do, you'll never be able to find enough protection.
They'll make this movie, and you could have all different actresses in the movie playing the victims, and it'll be huge, man. Michael Bay is going to direct it.
I don't think I'd want to see any sort of explosion in that sort of movie.
You'll see it.
Oh.
You'll love it. 3D.
Oh. Okay.
Disgruntled Porn Star Massacre 3D coming to a theater near you. Michael Bay. Talk to me.
Aye.
All right, let's read some more comments.
Yeah, I got this one. In the spirit of Halloween, John and OJ, if you had to die by the hand of a horror icon, who would you choose to be your killer and why? From LXA Stud.
I think if you want to just go out quickly, Jason's your best bet because he's more deliberate.
Yep.
He's just going to take you out. If you want more of like a song and dance and a show, then Freddy's your guy because he's going to kind of wine and dine you. He's going to bring you into that stupid factory, whatever he brings people in, and turn himself into different objects, and it's going to be more of a drawn-out process. If you just want to, I think Jason, because I just want to be taken down.
Yeah. I thought about this one, and my thought was specifically not Freddy. I also wouldn't want Michael from Halloween either, because he kind of chases you around for a bit.
Yeah.
Jason will just get you by surprise. And you know what? In a couple of movies, he'll at least let you have some intimate time with your lady friend first, and then he'll kill you.
Right.
I mean, what a way to go, right? I mean, could be worse.
He preaches abstinence all times.
Yeah. All right. So the next one then?
Sure.
This one is from Zombie Slayer Lloyd. What was the first horror film you ever watched?
Well, it's probably like the late 80s. In the late 80s, there was this show on TV every week, and it was like a different horror movie. And it had this really cool intro, which would show like all the different horror icons in this intro. It was pretty awesome. And I was probably like 6 years old. And my older cousins, who were actually female, they loved this shit, right?
Yeah.
And they'd like put it on like to freak me out and stuff. So I think I caught Nightmare on Elm Street probably was one of the first ones. Like Freddy Krueger, that was like a big thing at the time. We'll get to that later because I recently rewatched a lot of those movies.
Oh, nice.
We'll talk about those, but yeah, it's probably that one. So
yeah, well, I was kind of a scaredy cat. I can't remember what the first one was. It was probably either Halloween or Puppet Master. I know I saw
pretty scary as a kid.
What?
Puppet Master's pretty freaky for a kid. I remember seeing that
in general, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I saw Candyman in elementary school, and I was terrified of bees, and still am. So that really didn't help much. But yeah,
Child's Play, that was a big one.
Oh gosh, I didn't see that until a couple years ago.
All right, we're going to talk about all this stuff later, but pretty much Nightmare on Elm Street for me. Because my crazy female cousins loved horror stuff for some reason, so I got sucked into that.
Don't think
my aunt as well, yeah. So we got this is from Peter the Rock Griffin 1. It says, John and other John, have you ever pulled a Halloween prank? I never forget mine. I hooked a rope and it looked like a stuffed scarecrow who got hung, and I scared the crap out of people. Good show as always. Stay ballsy, my friends. Well, Peter the Rock Griffin's much more creative than anyone I ever knew. Because most of the pranks people did were just, let me throw this egg or this rock or something like that. So any kind of prank is it's cool in my book. I don't know. You got anything?
No, aside from the lost dog posters, that was the prankiest thing I think I ended up doing.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
This comment from Cat Dog 1992. What is both of yours most memorable Halloween, both good and bad? Great show. Stay shitty and ballsy, my friends.
Ooh, I don't want to know how they got dirty.
We kind of already answered a lot of this, but I wanted to include this in the comments just because this man had the guts to combine the two catchphrases. So we now have the ultimate catchphrase, which is stay shitty and ballsy, my friends, which is incredible. It's mind-blowing, and I just wanted to include that to thank this man. So the next one is from CM Punk Massaro, SVR, wrestling fan. What is your best, worst trick-or-treat moment? Also, if you could dress up as someone for Halloween, who would it be? So we already kind of answered that one, but my best trick or treat moment. This is terrible to say, but you know, like that house. There's always like a couple of houses where they just leave the candy out.
Oh no.
They leave the candy out in buckets
Oh.
with a sign saying, please take one. Now, I was very young at the time, so I'm not ashamed to say this. Me and my friends completely raided they had about 4 buckets out, just full of stuff, and basically just filled. You take it, just dump it in the bag.
Wow, dude.
I was very young. I was probably like 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, or something.
You could have been prosecuted, man. You were over 6.
We did leave some, but when we got to the house, it was like a crime scene. It wasn't like we just walked in and took everything. There was like other people vying for it. So like there was this bucket just being pulled and things were being thrown out of it, and people were just grabbing what they could. And there's probably like 10 kids there just at war over this candy, and that was probably the best trick or treat moment.
Togetherness.
Yes.
I don't know what my bad one was, but there's 2 good things that I want to point out. One is specific, one is general. The specific one is that there was one family in our neighborhood before you moved in, John.
Yes.
That they would have full-size Nestle Crunch bars. And when you're a little kid, the house that has the full-size candy bar is the best house in the neighborhood that day. Just for a day, it is the greatest thing. And I love Crunch bars. But the other thing I really like more is, like, going back to some of what John said earlier, Halloween is pretty much the one day of the year where you can just walk through the entire neighborhood, go through people's lawns, walk through the trees in the dark at night.
Yeah.
And it's completely acceptable. And I remember, I think one of the things I like most about Halloween was just walking through the neighborhood, going through the trees in the dark at night. You know, there's still a little bit of urban glow, but you can see the stars a little bit, and the sky's up there, some clouds, the moon. It was nice to just be outside wandering around at, till midnight.
Right.
Yeah, even if with friends, or maybe your friends are a house over and you're working your way over there. It was just great. It was awesome.
Should do it again.
I wish.
Get arrested because you're well into your 20s.
Yeah, I'm creepy now. Thanks.
All right, keep going here.
Dear John/OJ, do either of you have scary true stories, e.g. ghosts, UFOs, etc.? And what are they? P.S. OJ should be OJ Simpson for Halloween. From ZZ Ghosty ZZ.
Will you be OJ Simpson for Halloween this year?
I do have gloves that people have termed murder gloves, but oddly enough, I can't find them. Almost as if I left them out while I was outside somewhere doing chores. Yeah. Late at night somewhere.
There's so many different OJ Simpson costumes you can do. You can do the football version. You can do the 1994 arrest or the 2010 arrest, or, so many different ways to go with that. Should do it one day.
I think a really terrible thing to do would be to dress up as him from the most recent thing.
Yeah.
Then when they open the door, have a toy gun and say, "You got my merchandise. Give it back."
Sweet.
Yeah.
I don't have any ghosts. Like I don't have any ghost stories. Like I saw ghosts or UFOs or anything like that. There's many places around me that are supposed to be like haunted areas.
Yeah.
Including the Elephant Hotel, which isn't too far away, where I guess the rumor is that was Barnum and Bailey.
Yeah.
They used to keep animals in that town, so then they buried elephants underneath this hotel, and it's haunted. I don't know. I've actually heard people say that they've been in there and crazy shit going on.
You're like 40 minutes from Sleepy Hollow, dude.
Sleepy Hollow is very close to me as well, which is the Headless Horseman. I actually forgot about that. I wasn't going to reference that, so thank you.
You're welcome.
But the one I want to talk about is there's this building that I pass every time I go to Phil's house, and it's supposed to be like one of the most haunted places in the country. It's in all kinds of books, and it's called Fairfield Hills. And it was basically, years ago, it was the home for the criminally insane patients. They specialize in electric shock therapy, hydrotherapy, psychosurgery, and frontal lobotomies. And it was notorious for suicides and mysterious deaths. So it's supposed to be like this very haunted place. I didn't even know about this until I saw a book randomly in like Barnes & Noble or some shit. And it was like the most haunted places. It was like in like the top 10. So I was like, I drive by that all the time. But it was actually the setting for the movie Sleepers.
Really?
And MTV had this show called Fear, which actually did an episode there as well. So it's supposed to be like this crazy haunted place. The thing is, like, I drive by it all the time. I drive by in the middle of the night. Like 2 nights ago, I drove by it because I was coming home from Phil's. I drove by at like 2 in the morning.
Ooh.
And it's like, it looks like a scary building. It's kind of disturbing at night because it's very dark and it's in the distance. But if you drive through it in the day, it's fine. There's like a nice park near it. There's a school pretty close to it. It's like, there's nothing scary about that. Or, I don't know why they leave these buildings just to rot like that.
I don't know. Well, probably no one wants to get in there and mess with it.
I wouldn't want to be in there in the middle of the night, but, but I don't think there's anything wrong with the place. I think it's a lot of nonsense.
We went by a place like that once, too. I wanted to mention if you're done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was with my cousins and my sister, and we were driving around. My oldest cousin was driving, and he decided he would scare everybody. He drove us to this abandoned, I guess it used to be a mental facility, or I think it was some sort of mental hospital that had been abandoned for many years. And it was a huge, sprawling campus, like really multiple buildings, a long driveway, and this big, empty, desiccated husk of a building.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the night. It's probably around midnight or so. And we were just terrified. He gets there, he steps outside. It's fortunate no one tried to go in the building, because I think there's vagrants who live inside it now.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, but I was terrified. The place, it was dark. There was no lighting, and it didn't help that my family loves to tell scary stories. So
Sweet.
yeah.
Well, the problem with like a lot of these places, like they're not haunted, just buildings that are abandoned. And then what happens is people read these books or whatever, and they decide, oh, I'm going to go in there and I'm sneak into these buildings, and then, they might hurt themselves because they're in like abandoned buildings, and then the cops have to, watch the stuff, and it's just a problem all around, man. So I don't know. They should figure out something to do. Knock them down, put up a Jiffy Lube or something, or a Walmart. I don't know. Do something with it.
Lovely choices there.
All right, I'm gonna skip ahead here. This is Phyrexian Nighthawk. He says, "Hey guys, here's a Halloween question for you. What was the most interesting item you received while trick or treating? Mine would have been packets of ketchup, also a can of black olives. Not
Wow,
that's terrible, man. That's basically someone who like forgot it was Halloween. They get home from work and then people start knocking on their door, and they go, oh crap, and they start grabbing things in the house."
Dude,
that's how that situation.
That's probably like a $2, between a $1 and $3 item. That's a good deal. Sell that.
Right.
Sell the can of black olives. Buy yourself some candy. Make a profit.
There's always like someone that's giving away like apples or something weird, carrot sticks or. Yeah, what's up with that one? Pennies.
People give out pretzels now too because they're healthier.
They try to sneak in healthy food.
Sodium's not that great for you guys. Just saying.
All right, so did you ever get any odd stuff?
No, I don't think I forgot anything really that particularly strange. I mean, I think there were apples once, but I don't know if my mom actually let us eat them.
Yeah, usually not. I don't even like that. You like candy apples? You like that?
Oh, I love candy apples.
You do?
Yeah. Oh, you just reminded me that my fondue pot got delivered back to me, so.
You can make candy apples with that?
Oh my gosh, I know what I'm doing this weekend. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. I will not be participating.
Oh.
And the last comment's from Gray1457. It says, "Hey guys, what would you do if a zombie invasion happened right on your doorstep? Also, if you had to listen to one band while it happened, what would it be? Keep up the good work." This is an amazing comment because it doesn't make sense at all, but it's great. Because what would you do in a zombie invasion, but you had to listen to music at the same time? This is incredible. I don't even know how to answer. This is so good.
I know.
I guess you could. I don't know. Is the music supposed to like have something to do with the zombie? Like maybe you want to play music that pisses off the zombies?
I think it's music that would get you. That would probably whatever music you think would help you survive best.
I'd probably play like some Celine Dion. That'd probably like blow the zombies' heads off. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking more along the lines of something that would rock out pretty hard to get you pumped enough to, destroy them and get to safety.
Something that would soothe the zombies, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in a
Okay.
bad spot if there was a zombie attack. Like,
On your doorstep.
yeah, well, what's nice is there are additional
What band?
doors, but there's 2 ways into my house and I have a big window. If zombies can climb, all we need is some debris, and they can get right in my house.
Then I would kill you, like we talked about earlier, because you're gonna get turned.
I thought you were gonna lock me in the closet.
Like you said I have license to kill you at any time. That's
Well,
what we
yeah.
talked. All right.
Okay.
All right. So that's it for the Halloween comments. We're gonna move on.
And how?
I did so much stuff last week. I don't even want to get into it. Just 100 million things, including Smart Guys and playing Kirby straight through. And
Kirby is so awesome.
Did you play the new one?
Not the new one, no.
All right, but
Like Kirby.
I did play so many. I played a lot of games recently, including Arkham City, which I want to talk about, and we have about 4 weeks of comics that I want to get through. So we'll probably push all that stuff to next week. Next week will be a big like catch up week just to get through all this stuff. I'm going to talk like 5 games I want to talk about. Uncharted will be out as well. So we're going to push all that to the future, and we're actually going to bring in a special guest. So we're going to disconnect. What?
From the future.
From the future, yes. So we're going to come back with a special guest, and I hope that you're still there, even though it'll be like half a second for you. I should stop talking. We'll be right back. Goodbye. All right, we're back with a very special guest. You can find him at youtube.com/GrogDeluxe, which is a channel that specializes in game playthroughs from the horror genre. You may also know him from several co-op playthroughs he's done with DSP and myself. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and the only Grog is here.
Hello. How are you guys?
Doing good, man. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
How's it going today?
Very well, actually.
So, I thought it was fitting to have you on this time of year, since you're a horror expert. First, I want to ask you, what is it about the horror genre that you enjoy so much? Are you actually a Satan worshiper, or perhaps a future serial killer?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah, I told you it was from the future.
What really I like about the genre is I feel like there's so much more thought put into the games, most of the games. There's some duds out there, of course, but it's like every single part of the game is so intricately made, like from the environment to the plot to how characters even look for the most part. And I don't think you get that in most other games. And also horror can actually bring out emotions in me, like fear. I feel pissed off sometimes, and I don't feel that with a lot of other games. I connect more with a horror game than I do with most other genres.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. It's not the kind of games you just run through and you gotta think about stuff and get immersed in it. So we mentioned your YouTube channel is youtube.com/GrogDeluxe.
Yes, sir.
What can you tell us about your channel? What games do you have on there?
Well, it started out as just me and my friends. We used to play horror games here in my apartment quite a bit, and for about 2 years we just stopped completely. And it was a ton of fun when we did that, so I thought, let's just start up a channel. That'll get us to play games again. And that's why I started recording. And that's seriously what happened. My thought was if we had just even a few followers, that would motivate me to keep going if someone genuinely wanted to watch my videos. Right. And it's evolved from there. We don't just do horror games anymore because you can only do that for so much. But we do just random multiplayer games on the weekends too. And Fire Pro Wrestling. We watch AI fight in Fire Pro.
Nice.
Nice, dude.
So you do have a lot of horror games on there. Which games can people find on the channel?
Most recently, currently being uploaded, well, kind of on a hiatus right now, is Cursed Mountain on the Wii. That's
oh boy,
current project right now. Unfortunately, one of my friends, he's had a tough time coming over, so it's kind of been put on the back burner. If he's not over again this weekend, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on a backlog, and we're going to start uploading my next game, which will be Silent Hill, the original one.
Oh, sweet.
Nice. We have that one all finished recording. It's actually just waiting. I'm waiting for Cursed Mountain to either finish or just who knows what happens this weekend.
Disappear.
Yeah, we'll get it done. But
I'll give you credit for playing that game because I remember when it came out, I was working at the game store at the time. They got like one copy, and it's like this weird cover of like a bearded guy, and he's just like in the mountains, just like yelling. And was it hard to even find that game to play, or?
We actually have a really good used game store selection here in Des Moines. There's about 3 of them all in a row where I can get all kinds of even classic games and stuff like that. We're pretty blessed with that. And so a lot of games are not tough to find for me.
I think I might have to check out the Cursed Mountain playthrough. It sounds.
I'm not gonna lie.
I literally remember getting it when I was working at the store and like holding it up. I remember just started laughing, like, "What the hell is this atrocity?" But
I only know about it because I actually do actively search out like horror titles. Like, give me every single horror title on the Wii, go, and I'll look through them and I try to collect them too.
Right. We'll get to that. I want to talk about like specific series of games and stuff.
Sure. A couple other games you can find is one of my favorites that I've actually played, and it's just recently, is Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
Oh gosh, don't get me started.
Have you played that?
John?
I played through I played the through just through. I was on a friend's house. I don't have the game because I'm a scared little child. But we got up through the water guy, and I got through the water guy, and I'm like, okay, can I watch you play now? Thanks.
That was the first time you see him is one of the scariest parts of the game, I thought.
It's that scary, huh?
It's one of the most well made. Like that part was just perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, I never had to try that out.
It's unfortunately the darkest game I've ever played. Also, it's like I don't mean that in like the metaphorical dark. I mean like you can't see anything, and it's supposed to be that way.
Huh.
It's one last thing about that game. It's the first game I've played where I was running away from a monster and hiding, and my character, I was hiding in a corner next to a low, like maybe a hip-high wall, huddled in the corner, just listening, trying to tell if it's run away or not, and staying there for a minute after I stopped hearing it because I was that scared. Like it really puts you in there.
Yeah,
do you have nightmares about the game? Are you afraid? Do you have nightmares about it?
Fortunately, no. But if I ever get through more of the game, I probably will.
We're going to talk to Yogi about a couple of things because we'll get to that later. But
yeah,
I got a question for Grog.
Mm-hmm.
I think for most people, their introduction to horror games was Resident Evil 1. What can you tell us about horror games before that? Because there were games in existence, obviously.
They were pretty bad. There's very few and far in between good ones. My first horror game was actually Resident Evil 3, though.
Okay.
But before the Resident Evils, there was Alone in the Dark, which is actually what Resident Evil came from. Those are old PC-based games. I have a couple of them. Those really do play exactly like the first three Resident Evils, whereas you kind of move around, look for items, where do you use the item, avoid zombies or avoid monsters.
So it's kind of where Resident Evil kind of came from, huh?
It's exactly where Resident Evil came from, actually.
Wow. So there's nothing really noteworthy before Resident Evil. That was kind of like
that was pretty much the like more mainstream series. There's a couple of them that were actually really good that never came to America. One of my actual favorite games of all time is Clock Tower, and it was on the Super Nintendo. I guess Super Famicom, since it's Japan only.
Yeah.
And that game, I think, to this day, still holds the test of time. It has true random encounters. It's just one guy chasing you through the whole mansion. It's just one guy, so it's not a bunch of zombies or anything like that. And
so that was never actually released in the U.S.?
It wasn't, but you can very easily find it online.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm going to have to check that out. So I want to go right into Resident Evil 1.
Sure.
For me, that was like a incredible thing. It was the first time like everything kind of came together, like the graphics, the length of the game could be a certain way. And I remember when that came out, and it was like just explosive. I think one person in my neighborhood had it, and everyone would kind of meet every night, and we just sit there and like just try to figure it out ourselves. And it was a tremendous revolution in games, really. So, what are your thoughts on Resident Evil? Just in general, which ones you like the most? All that good stuff.
In general, it's a sad topic for me because I think it's really gone downhill.
Okay, well,
everyone thinks that, but for the
original, the positive side for which ones do you like? And
I really loved because those are actually very nostalgic. Those are the first horror games I played before I even got to Silent Hill or any of the others, and before I really know what true scary was. And my best memory is during Nemesis. The same deal. We had a big neighborhood. All of us kids all got together and played.
Right.
And I guess I'll spoil it, but if you don't know the scene, you're a bit late. In Resident Evil 3, when you're in the police station for the first time, you talk to Carlos on the radio, you go down the stairs, and Nemesis jumps out the window. Every single one of us needed a new pair of pants on that.
Oh, wow.
It was
like... That was tremendous, man. People don't realize because it was the first time that kind of stuff went on in games.
Right.
So when it happened, you weren't expecting any of this stuff to happen, and it's like now you kind of know better in a way. But back then it was really something. So which of the series do you like the most? Like what's your like Resident Evil game?
It's a toss up between Nemesis and the remake of Resident Evil 1.
Oh wow!
Really?
Okay.
Even that scared the pants off of me too.
They added a lot of nice things into that remake. They did a really good job on that for the GameCube.
Even including the claw zombies.
Yeah, and the Crimson Heads. I mean, it adds a challenge to it also.
No, John, you had that game, right?
Yeah, not that I played through more than an
But you
hour or two
refused.
because I was too scared.
John refuses to play. He wouldn't play a lot of these games. He'll have someone else play and he'll watch.
You know, that's
You want
actually
to
a
go?
lot of fun too. I do that with a lot of my playthroughs. It's my friend Sonny plays most of the games,
Right.
and I watch.
There's something about these games, though. It sounds pathetic when you think about it to be like by yourself. But if you're playing these games like alone and you're it's like late, it's dark out and shit, it kind of adds to the whole thing in a way. Do you agree
Right.
with that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's still pathetic though to be like in your basement by yourself with a game. I think in a lot of ways, but
Oh.
Well, a lot of games,
Uh,
like if you have someone chatting your ear off, it kind of ruins the mood too.
right.
See Resident Evil 5 for details.
Oh. All right, so we'll talk about that. You feel like the series has gone downhill. At what point do you feel it started to slip? Was it Resident Evil 4? Was it
was
5?
4. Nope, it was definitely 4. 4 is a
4.
great game, but they really didn't try one bit to keep it scary.
Okay.
They just really went more towards the action aspect as opposed to the horror and scariness. They really got rid of a lot of the atmosphere also. I think that made Resident Evil so great.
Hmm.
I love 4, don't get me wrong, but it's
Yeah.
just I think if they renamed the game, everyone would be happy. Just kept in the game exactly the same. Just call it, I don't know, Biohazard. And it
Do you
was
think
just-
that they made games games have become less scary over time to try to maybe appeal to a wider audience? Maybe they feel like they're alienating a portion of the audience. We have to try to appeal to everyone now and
I don't-
water down the horror aspect.
that could be part of it, but I think more of it is look how big the shooter genre got. Look how much money there is in that. Let's
Yeah.
kind of emulate that a little bit more. Try to lean towards that direction a little bit more. Will make more money.
It's kind of bled into Resident Evil because you have Resident Evil 5, which is kind of like Gears of War in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you know, I've actually never even finished that game.
I actually enjoy it. Like, I kind of look at Resident Evil as different eras. You have like the 1, 2, and 3 as an era, and 4 is kind of like its own animal, and 5 is very different. It's more of a, it's a good time. They're all good. You know, it's all a good time. It's not the
And
old
then
school
you have-
survival horror version though.
And then you have Gaiden on the Game Boy.
Oh yeah, would you play that?
No, I want it really bad. It's like a $50-$60 cartridge though.
Oh wow,
Dang, dude.
Yeah, it's
that
pretty
was
hard.
on Game Boy Color or something. What was that for?
Yeah, it was Game Boy Color.
Huh.
That one's just strictly for my collection. I'd love to have it.
All right, so I think that's it for Resident Evil. I think we covered it. Got your thoughts on that. So Resident Evil is out, and a lot of these games, a lot of these survival horror games, they have like their shock factor when they first come out, and then like kind of the sequels after that. It seems like you're kind of used to it as the sequels come out. I would say, and then it seems like something else comes out that kind of just totally rewrites everything. So Resident Evil was out. People were used to what that was. Wasn't really like scaring the crap out of people anymore. But then Silent Hill came out. And Silent Hill was like playing that first game. It was a lot like Resident Evil for the first time, and it was more psychological, weird stuff going on than what Resident Evil had.
Oh, you're not kidding.
Yeah. So what's your history with Silent Hill and your thoughts on that series?
I got that because I had heard it was scary. I didn't know anything about it, but I liked
Yeah.
Resident Evil. I had 3 in first one. I never had 2 for quite a while actually.
Mm-hmm.
But and then I saw it used. It was literally what was GameStop before it was GameStop?
Depends. There's Funko.
I guess it was Funkoland here. Yeah, it was a Funkoland, and I saw it there, and it came in literally a Ziploc bag, so I didn't have the case or anything. So I didn't care back then. It was a newer game, and I bought it. And the very first thing that happens in Silent Hill is you go down an alley, and you just get chased by these little kids in there. Or I don't know if they're kids, but they're little demon things, and that scared
Yeah.
the shit out of me. And I couldn't play the game for like a week after.
Yeah, it was crazy. And people don't realize Silent Hill. It wasn't like this big blockbuster at first. It was almost like an underground game. Like it didn't just come out. People were like, oh, this is great. Like it was like word of mouth. Like it came out, and people were like, you gotta check this game out, Silent Hill, Silent Hill. And then you finally play it, or you see someone play it, you're like, what is this shit? And you want to play it because it was so crazy. And I played the first and the second game, and then after that, I was kind of like, it kind of was like, all right, I kind of seen it. Did you play the other ones after those?
Yeah, absolutely. I played every single one except for 4 and Origins.
All right. I actually have some of the comments I saved because I wanted to throw them at you.
Sure.
So I'm gonna read it to you. This is from Omega Weapon X2. He says, "What are your feelings toward the direction the Silent Hill franchise is going? Personally, I'm still enjoying every game, though I wish they would return to the series' roots. Maybe Downpour will surprise us. Who knows?" So I guess he's asking, what's your feelings toward the direction the series has been going down?
A lot of people like to dog on Silent Hill just because I think they set their bar so high in the beginning. It's really tough to do that again. Silent Hill 2 is like, even people that don't like horror games have played it and will say it's one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah, I
it's in
agree.
a lot of top 10 game lists and everything. I think they just set the bar too high for themselves accidentally.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
But I still really do enjoy the new ones. I have a playthrough of Homecoming even on my channel, and that is one of the most hated Silent Hills out there because it essentially is Silent Hill, the movie, the game.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously?
It takes a lot from the movie. You can tell the people who made it really didn't play the games much. They just saw the movie. But
I
I didn't mind the movie. I thought the movie was okay,
I
actually.
liked the movie
was-
until they explained where the monsters came from.
But it is actually pretty good. If you get towards the end, a lot of people didn't give it a chance to get even halfway through, and that's when the game really picked up, I thought.
Right.
And then if you want to go even newer than that, you have Shattered Memories, which is currently the most recent one, although Downpour was supposed to be out this week. I even took time off work and I got delayed. I delayed until March. But
Wow,
the
nice.
most recent one is Shattered Memories, which is on the Wii. Well, it's on PS2 also.
Right.
And I think that's a step in the right direction. They just kind of said, forget everything else. We don't need to have rusted metal grated walls nonstop. And they just completely took the game from scratch and restarted it. And they did a very good job. You don't fight. You literally just run.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was reviewed very well. I remember
Mhm.
I always wanted to check it out.
When did that first come out?
Shattered Memories, I think, was like the last 2 years.
Oh, okay.
08, I want to
So-
say. No,
Gotcha.
probably newer. Probably newer than that. But.
Yeah, okay. OJ, what's your history with Silent Hill?
Running away from it scared. I have not seen much of Silent Hill aside from the movie and hearing my friend not stop talking about how awesome it is.
This is not your genre of game.
I couldn't play Castlevania 3 as a child because I was too scared.
We talked about this earlier. You saw Puppet Master when you were a kid. I think that ruined horror for you. forever.
I've been looking for that movie.
Oh man, all right, we're gonna talk about movies too. We'll get to that.
Killer Clowns.
Back to Silent Hill. I still think 3 is one of the scariest games I've ever played.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, for whatever reason, like after 2, I think for whatever reason, like people just didn't get 3 and 4. Like
4
I'm not
was
sure
really,
why.
really different.
Okay.
They made 4 completely different from the rest of the series. It doesn't even have anything to do with Silent Hill, I don't think.
Yeah, that's what I've seen
you-
the most of.
There's ghosts in it. There's never been ghosts before in Silent Hill. Well, there's some in the first one, but yeah.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the Downpour game. See how that goes.
I am too.
There's a bunch of games I never played, so like maybe you could talk about some of that stuff, like Fatal Frame. I know there's a bunch of other for that PS2 era that I never checked out. So what do you got?
I got them
as
all.
far as that stuff? You have them all?
I
Nice.
pretty much got them all. But Fatal Frame, I have a love-hate. I didn't even finish playing that game. It's very difficult, actually. It's probably the hardest horror game I've ever played.
Wow.
They just give you a ton of health items in the beginning. Not really a ton, but they give you the health items in the beginning, and you think, okay, here's the rate that I'm getting them, so I can kind of be a bit more liberal with them. No. I'm at the end. Each ghost can like one-shot kill me, and I have no health items, nothing left. It's brutal towards the end, and it's almost frustratingly so, actually.
Well, one of my friends has played through it a bajillion times. He wants to marry that game. From what he said, it's a really awesome game. I wish I were not too chicken to play it, but it does sound like it's a lot of it sounds like the atmosphere is really good. And apparently, he says that he was playing through and there's something. He's played it through a bunch of times, and sometimes stuff happens differently. Like he said, something happened that has never happened before. It's just random occurrences.
I've only played the first Fatal Frame, but the ghost encounters are random, actually. There's the set plot ghost that you can run into, but then after, in between, when you're just running around, they can, jump at you through a door or something like that.
Wow.
And I think that's something that really needs to be used more is true randomness.
Not just you took 10 steps, fight this thing, but
Right, or say, we'll go back to Resident Evil. You know when Nemesis, the first time you play the game, you don't know when Nemesis is going to show up, but if you ever play it again, he's always going to show up at the same exact points because that's
So you don't care anymore.
Right, it's not scary. I think if they actually had true random stuff like that, it adds a lot more to the fear because you're always on your toes.
Right.
Well, there's a
Okay,
game that I think we'll be talking about later that does try to do it.
What we kind of skipped over this for the Resident Evil. What are your thoughts on the Raccoon Operation, whatever city or whatever name they've come up with for this?
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it looks fun. I mean, I saw that
Yeah.
Comic Con, and New York Comic Con. They had it. Doesn't look like any type of horror game.
No,
It looks like
that's
Left
just,
4 Dead or something, but it's gonna be fun.
it really just solidifies my thoughts before that they really just abandoned the horror and scariness.
Right.
But
What exactly makes something a horror game? It's not just necessarily it has monsters in it. It has to have certain elements. So
For
like
me-
what makes a horror game a horror game?
For me, the developer, the maker, has to have the intent to scare you. I think
Okay.
they really have. That's the number one thing for me.
Right.
If they don't intend to scare you, like Shadows of the Damned, that has a lot of horror stuff in it, but
Mhm.
they're not trying to scare you in that game. So it's not really a horror or survival horror game, I don't think.
Right. Yeah, I feel like, especially with all these games, it's all about the atmosphere, and when they keep pumping guys at you repeatedly, and this is what Resident Evil 5 has. It's no longer really a horror game because it's not scary just to see the same dudes coming out all the time.
Yeah.
Something like Dead Space was so cool when that came out because there was like those long stretches where you're just walking and there's nothing happening, and then all of a sudden, oh, bam, and here's something cool, you know. So I think that adds to the what a survival horror game is. Can't just be like here's 50 dudes to shoot all the time.
Yeah, they kind of dilute the effect of a zombie by doing that, don't they?
Mm.
Yeah,
Normally,
you're
a
like,
zombie's
okay.
supposed to like an unstoppable dead person, but now it's just
Right.
whatever. He's a zombie.
All right, so that's a good thing you brought up. So zombies, a couple zombies games came out over the last couple years, including the Dead Rising series. Do you consider this a horror game, or is it
Horror, yeah. Survival horror, no.
okay?
Again, they don't try to scare you. It's made to be fun. It's an extremely fun game, but they don't intend to scare you. And
Well,
to
yeah,
me,
it's an
that's,
awesomely
that's
fun
a big
game.
factor.
Well,
Yeah,
it sounds. So is it more of a so it's not a survival horror, but it's still maybe if it's not really that intent to scare you, maybe we should just start calling them survival games.
More just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, not survival horror though.
Yeah.
You can still call it horror, obviously, because it has zombies. I don't know, that's all it is. But
What about Resident Evil Gun Survivor, John? That's your favorite game?
Oh gosh,
which one?
the Gun Con game for the PS2.
Yeah, he has
PS2,
that.
Dead Aim.
Yeah,
Dead
Dead
Aim,
Aim.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
There's one on the PlayStation 1 also.
Yeah, I have that
Yeah.
actually.
Survivor.
Yeah, I have
gosh.
that. John got Dead Aim in Chinatown in New York, and it came with the gun.
Yeah, I
Oh my
wanted the
God.
gun, but I'll take it with the game too.
But you'll play that game. You won't play but you played that. That's okay.
I played
Why?
it a little bit. I never finished it.
But you won't play the regular Resident Evil games. But that game's okay to
I
play.
played
Why
them
is it-
both. No, that still scares me. Actually, I played them both for maybe an hour or two.
Okay.
I
Right,
mean,
so
I've
back-
seen most of Resident Evil 1 and 2, if not all of it, but just not through my own hands.
So back on the zombie topic, we're talking about Dead Rising. So what are your? I guess you kind of said it already, but what are your like overall thoughts on that series?
Oh, I love it. I think it's
Yeah, it's
great.
great.
It's what a lot of people wanted. It was the first one came out really before the whole zombie fad happened.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
It started out right in the beginning of the zombie fad that's going on right now.
Right. Of course, you have. It's funny because you have zombies is the fad in games, but like vampires is the fad in movies.
I know,
or
crazy, right?
TV. It's kind of strange.
Well, I
Um,
think vampires have more sex appeal. Just saying.
They do glitter.
Mm.
Glitter. I mean,
OJ's a big fan of Vampirella, and
Oh gosh.
Elvira is he's a big fan.
I'm going off
Moving
topic, but
on.
actually, there's an Iowa guy whose name is Vampirial, but I call him Vampirella every time I see him.
Aw.
That's a pretty awesome name. This actually is a great point to throw in a comment from one of the listeners. Drunken Commando sent this one in. He says, "You recently played yet another zombie game, Dead Rising 2. Yakuza Dead Souls was announced, and it pretty much adds zombies to the Yakuza environment. Do you think zombies are getting stale, as it seems every game has zombies in it? I'm getting tired of them, and I don't want to see it in an Uncharted game, but I got a feeling they might. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
It's too many zombies?
It is really just it's getting saturated now. Everything has a zombie turn.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at like Even RPGs now have it. What? Oh, I'm trying to think of it.
Isn't everything?
Yeah, it's always a download content that's on the side later
Zombies.
for like what, $15, $10, $15 for it for the same game. Only they replace some of the graphics with zombies.
Yeah. It's funny is like you have Call of Duty and that's like the World War II genre, which got completely played out. Well, then they add zombies to that game, which is another pretty played out thing. So that's just like a mind screw right there.
But
if you
they're
think about
Nazi zombies.
that. All right, whatever. But
Go
Shout
see the
outs to
movie Dead
Wolfenstein.
Snow.
that's just crazy, man. But like the way I look at it is, I think like everything has been done a lot, like many times, no matter what it is, especially like in games. But if you approach it in a new, exciting way, then it's okay. But if you're just doing like the same old stuff with it, then it's kind of lame. So like something like Dead Rising is very different than something like Left 4 Dead. So like I think that's okay. And I don't know. If you approach it with like a new way, I think it's all right.
I think if the game was originally intended to have zombies and be a zombie game in the first place, that's fine.
right.
But when you have like Red Dead Redemption and Borderlands, and
Hey, the Zombie Island of Dr. Ned was pretty funny.
okay.
What did you think of Dead Island? This one that we played together.
I think it should have waited half a year before being released.
Some
Aw.
glitches.
That was bad. It was a fun game.
Yeah.
It was only fun because I played it with you, Justin, and Phil. Though, if I played it by myself, I would have been really disappointed.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. What other cool games are there in the horror genre? I know Fear is one of them. I played the most recent one. I thought it was okay. That's another one of those games that's not really scary. Because they, like we talked about, they just kind of pump guys at you.
Right.
What else do you got for it? If for someone that doesn't know a lot about, or just knows about the mainstream games, what else exists out there for these folks?
Depends what console we're talking. Like newer.
Yeah, I guess or just anything. Whatever you
'Cause
got, whatever you think is good.
I guess I'll go with PS2 because that's still most popular. Maybe. Look up Haunting Ground.
Okay.
It's not very well known. It kind of is. It's made by Capcom actually. It's a successor to the Clock Tower series, where it does have random events happening too. There's 4 parts of the game, so there's 4. Like the first quarter, there's one guy chasing you. You beat him, then you have another person chasing you. It's actually a very good game. It's one of my favorites.
Cool. John, what's the game you wanted to talk about?
Eternal Darkness. That's a horror game I've seen through to the end. Like,
How'd you like it?
oh my gosh, I love it. I mean,
Yeah.
the Lovecraftian stuff, despite me being a total coward, is pretty effing sweet. I just like the fact that any game that messes with you that much is going to be my friend. I mean, the things it did, not all of the insanity things, but the subtle stuff like the blood on the walls, and you go into a room and things aren't what they really are. Just the tricks it plays on you, and the creepiness, and just the monsters you had to fight, especially the crazy schizophrenic one.
I played it when it first came out. I haven't played it since.
Ah,
I have it. I do remember the notorious they get you at the end, the notorious trolling that they do.
yeah.
Do you remember that?
Spoil it. Spoil it.
All right, I'll spoil it.
Spoil it.
At the very end, you're playing through. It's not the very end, but it's close. I'd say like within 3/4 of the game, wouldn't you say? And
Yeah.
It pretends to do a blue screen of death on you when you go
Yeah.
to save,
Nice.
It's
and
glorious.
it tells you your memory card is unformatted and everything. You got to start over.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
That's
one of
a
the
nice thing to tell people. They probably smash their consoles. And,
well, it's really hard to break a GameCube, so it'll probably withstand the punishment. But I think one of my favorite insanity things, though, is the best one. One of the nice things about the game is that you have a main character who's in the present, and she's going through this house trying to solve the mystery of what happened to kill her grandfather, but she finds stories of her ancestors and other people, and when you find one of the stories, you play as them. What's cool though is that she starts picking, like when one of them learns a spell, she learns it too, and that'll open up a new area of the house. But you end up playing as one of these characters. You know, they've got their own backstories, they've got their own personalities, their own play styles, which is fun, so it mixes it up a bit. But I was this explorer guy in the middle of something roughly akin to the Temple of Doom, and all I have is like a dagger, a sling, and a shotgun. And I'm almost out of shotgun shells. I'm freaking out. I go into this room, and there's shotgun shells everywhere. I am so happy. I mean, there's got to be maybe 20 or 40 of them. I pick them all up, and as soon as I get the last one and head towards the door, my character just kind of shudders for a second and says, "It's only an illusion," or something like that.
That's awesome.
The screen like flickers for a second, and I'm in the first door, the entrance to the room, and I'm surrounded by zombies.
Nice.
Like, why would you do that?
Cool.
Yeah, well worth.
What were those games that? What was that game you got in Chicago, Grog? When we went to that store, the PS1 horror game.
Oh God, it's D.
All right, talk about that for a couple minutes.
Ooh, I got something to say about that too, but go on.
No, go for it.
Well, just that when I was at GameStop many years ago trying to find a game to play for the Dreamcast because I had just gotten it, and the guy at the store would not shut up about D. He just kept saying it was the best game ever. You've got an hour to play. It's so great. Blah blah. And absorbed into some giant single-celled organism. Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, okay.
Did he wear tinfoil to avoid the government from watching him or something?
All right, so what are your thoughts on this game? It's not a good game, or what?
It was a fun playthrough, and it's a very fun playthrough to watch. But no, it's a dud. That's a stinker of a game.
Okay.
Oh, it's hilariously bad. Like it's one
like
of those. When you see it, you just bust out laughing. Like, are you kidding me?
What's like a quick synopsis of the game?
You are Laura, a blonde in a skirt. That is all you need to know
Walking through
about
a haunted house.
her. It's allegedly a hospital, but when you get inside, it looks like an old castle. Yeah, whatever. It's basically you just find items to get to the next disc, which is the next room. It's a 3-disc game, and there's 3 rooms.
What?
Yeah, it's literally 3 disc. You spend about 15 minutes on 1 disc, and that's really it. You just go up to the top looking bookshelf. You find a key. You use the key somewhere else. You open that up. You go to the door. Done. Next CD.
Nice.
Are there monsters?
No monsters. Nothing can kill you other than the time.
So you just have to find the item in the room before you run out of time.
Yep. And you have an hour to play the game. And it does give you a game over if you do take a full hour.
Cool.
Yeah, I think if I remember, the basic plot was, I think you're trying to investigate something that happened to your father, and you get somewhere and some big thing envelops you or something. Like,
yeah,
eats you.
you find out that your father just decided, hey, I'm going to be a mass murderer and kill everyone in a hospital.
It's pleasant.
And so the police let her through because they're PS1 competent police.
All right. Some people want to check out that game. It's up on your channel, right?
Yes, it is. And there's a nice twist at the end. I'll give you a hint. The letter D has a meaning.
Is that the grade the game got?
No, that's the grade the developers got making it.
Very nice.
Oh.
All right, so I want to move on. We're talking about some horror movies.
Okay.
I think we covered the games pretty well. I wanted to ask you: are you a fan of the more mainstream movies, or are you a fan of, or maybe both? But are you a fan of like all those terrible B movies that you find in blockbuster shelves, like Troll and Jack Frost and all that stuff?
Oh my God, Jack Frost. OJ, have you seen Jack Frost?
I have seen the box for Jack Frost. That's as far as I got.
Go to YouTube right now and type in Jack Frost, Shannon Elizabeth.
Go
Do I
ahead,
have
we'll
to?
wait.
Okay.
No, don't do it now. But it's a terrible. You don't want to see that. It's basically snowman rape. It's not
That's
necessary.
cold, man.
Yeah.
Zing.
But are you a fan of those B movies? Have you seen any of those?
Not that B movie, no, or not
Okay.
that low quality of B movie. Those are fun.
Leprechaun?
Those are fun just to make fun of.
Yeah,
I honestly
was it
don't watch
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun, yeah, he's I think a cut above Frosty.
Okay.
Well, this is a question I actually have for you. I would like to watch a terrible horror movie that is so bad it is funny this weekend, and all I can come up with is Wishmaster.
You know, I don't watch too many movies, so I really.
Oh no!
I know, but yeah, definitely Jack Frost is up there.
That's crazy, man.
I was gonna say Puppet Master, but from what I hear, that's. Out of
Oh no!
Killer
You're opening up
Clowns,
old wounds.
Killer Clowns from Mars. That's another funny one.
Oh yeah, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Out of Space, yeah, not Mars. My mistake.
I'm typing this, by the way. That's a good idea.
All right.
Yeah, because scary movies, man. Like,
All right,
do you
so-
have a particular, or
What's that?
like So out of all these, so you haven't seen too many of these terrible ones. Well, actually, let's let John ask the questions. My bad.
Judge hijacking the show.
Yeah,
here.
I'm just warning you guys. I haven't really seen too many movies. I'm more for the.
All right, we'll just go through them.
Okay.
Go through them quick. But we're going way late here, so we'll just run through it. But so yeah, those B movies are so terribly bad. They're funny. There's a lot of those. Troll is another one. Troll 2, Troll 1 and Troll 2.
I've heard of those.
You should look that up on YouTube as well. There's some great scenes, including the "Oh my God" scene. Oh my God, they're going to eat me.
Oh, is that what it's from? That's why I've heard it. Okay.
Yeah, you look that up. That's pretty great.
They ate him. Now they're going to eat me.
Right. There's actually a Spanish version as well, which is "Ay Dios mío" instead of "Oh my God." But all right, let's try to. I want to go through just like the big ones from when I was growing up. So it's basically Nightmare on Elm Street was a big one.
Freddy and Jason were my babysitters when I grew up.
All right, so we can talk about those. So Nightmare on Elm Street, I just want to jump into that series. I've watched a couple of them recently again, and the first one is okay. It's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of cheesy moments in it now, like watching it now. At the time, it was like really scary. I don't know why. I guess I was just 5 years old or whatever. But the first movie, there's scenes in that movie. It's a lot like Home Alone. Because the girl in the movie decides she's gonna pull Freddy out of the dream, and what she decides to do is set all these traps in her house. So she has like an axe that like when he opens the door it comes down on him, and she has like explosives in the light switches and stuff, and it's like Home Alone, man. Very goofy.
Christmas ornaments for him to step on. That's the worst.
There was none of that, but it was like I was expecting Joe Pesci to come out and with a Freddy makeup on and be but What are your thoughts on the Nightmare on Elm Street series? Which ones do you like and all that good stuff?
Definitely like the the older Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Right.
I mean, it just got really ridiculous.
As it went on, it just got worse.
It is to a point where like some guy was playing video games, and this is back, I think early '90s, so they were still making the Atari noises back then. And Freddy killed him by turning him into a video game sprite of himself and giving him a game over.
Yeah, is it there a scene where he controls people with an NES controller?
Was it an NES controller? I don't remember. I haven't seen those in a very long time.
Yeah,
I think John knows about this.
He tells him to hop. That's all I remember.
He like jumps into the ceiling, like crushes his face or something.
Oh.
But then like the second movie, it well first of all the first movie has a twist ending where you think the girl beat Freddy, but at the very last scene she gets into this car and all her friends are back to life, and she gets in the car and all of a sudden the roof of the car has a Freddy color schemed roof, and he has control of the car and basically kills everyone. So that was like the twist ending. And then the second movie is terrible. It's like three people die in the movie, okay? And basically what this movie's about where Freddy can like take control over you in your dream. So he like takes control of this kid and he has him kill all these people in his town. And like three people die. There's a ridiculous scene where Freddy goes to like a beach party, a pool party, and he's just running around stabbing people in the stomach. It's kind of funny. But then it has the same exact twist ending at the end where you think that the kids won. They all get inside the bus, but Freddy has control of the bus.
Man,
Speed
just don't
3.
end the movie in a vehicle. That's just
don't get in a vehicle at the edge. Don't do it.
You see those credits a few minutes away. Stay away from the car.
Right. Did you see the remake?
Yeah, who did that? Michael Bay?
I don't believe it was Michael Bay. I didn't see it.
No,
I was wondering if you guys saw it. Was it really?
Yeah, he did a new Friday the 13th as well.
No.
John, look it up.
I actually really enjoyed the new one. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that. I think they should have had. I think Robert Englund is the name of the actor to do Freddy again.
Yeah.
But I really like the plot that they gave Freddy as opposed to his old plot. I like the new plot better.
I might have to check it out, actually.
Actually, come to think of it, that's about really the only thing I like better about it. But instead of where he killed people, he raped the kids, and
Oh, you like that aspect of it?
it just adds. Yeah, you know me. No,
Oh, it adds like a. You know what it does?
it really makes you hate Freddy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem with a lot of these monster movies or these horror movies where people are fans of. I'm going to talk about this later, and John will know what I'm talking about at the time. But people like become fans of Freddy or fans of Jason, and they want to see them kill everyone, and that's not what you want. You want people to be afraid, or like to hate the character. So adding that in kind of like adds a more heinous side to the character. You can't really like be like, oh, I'm a fan of Freddy, you know.
Right.
Well,
And,
I can understand where people don't like that because it's not what the original idea was supposed to be.
and I guess I'll spoil the new one. So for those who haven't seen it and don't want it spoiled, turn it down just for a few seconds.
All right, you
I
can
guess.
spoil it. I
Yeah,
don't care.
I'm gonna spoil it. Basically they set the whole movie up to, not the whole movie, but most of it, where the original kids, where Freddy used to be basically groundskeeper at his elementary school, and
Right.
all the kids loved him and everything. And then as they grow up, they find out he's killing people, and they're thinking, well, why? Well, because the parents killed him. They thought that he raped all the kids, but none of the kids remember. They thought, well, no, he didn't do that to us. You guys just freaked out and killed him because we got too close to him.
Right.
And so for most of the movie, it's them really trying to defend him, trying to find evidence that he didn't do any of the stuff to them.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's a really nice twist towards the end when they go into the basement of the school and they find pictures of themselves like naked and stuff as kids.
Oh.
It doesn't show it or anything, but
Whoa.
yeah, they see pictures of that
Huh.
and it's just like, and then they realize, oh shit, he really did do that to us, and then they all remember. And at that point, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, maybe I won't watch
That's-
this movie. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it was Samuel Bayer,
Okay.
so it was close.
Ah,
Samuel Bayer and Michael Bay. Close. So I was talking about Friday the 13th, and that series was the same kind of deal where it was good at first, and then they did some crazy shit with it.
it didn't get too off the wall as Nightmare on Elm Street did, though.
There's some crazy stuff with Friday the 13th. There's well, Jason. I know Jason Goes to Hell.
Okay.
The movie starts. This is probably like Jason 7. I'll keep that in mind. So whatever. It's probably straight to video or whatever. But it starts off. It's got a cool opening where there's this chick in the woods and she's running from Jason, and she like lures him into this area where like the army comes out. They just like beat the hell out of him. They shoot him. They throw grenades on him, and they throw a rocket at him. And you find out that this woman was basically like an agent, and she was trying to set him up. So they kill him, and that's cool, right? Because it's this awesome scene. But then it gets lame because what happens is Jason, his heart is still alive, and he's able to possess people, and then the people go around killing for him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, kind of lame. And there's also the other one where there's one I can't remember what it is, but they dig him up, or someone digs him up just for the hell of it, and then
That's
lightning hits his
5,
body.
I want to say.
Yeah, and
I
then
wanna say
lightning
that's
hits
5.
him, and then he just comes back to life.
Because they stab him with whatever they had, like some kind of metal pole, and they stab him. Yeah, and then
Right.
lightning just happens to strike right there.
Yes.
And then we have Jason X.
And then Jason X, which is Jason in space.
Oh,
Space.
God, it's so bad.
Space Jason.
Nice.
Well, there are some good ones. Like, which ones do you like the series?
I actually did kind of like 5. If you get out of the bad plot, the
Right.
plot hole in the beginning, I think from 5 to the first. I actually just watched the first one 2 weekends ago,
Wow.
and it doesn't hold up to the test of time.
Hey, but
Yeah.
you got to see someone stab Kevin Bacon.
This is true. Through the bottom of a bed.
Finally.
But you
Yeah.
know what? A lot of people have blocked this out of their minds. You have to see Kevin's Bacon's ass before that,
Well,
and
It was probably in the
Yeah.
contract. Those are Kevin Bacon's got. He's like, all right, you can kill me, but everyone's going to see my ass first. That's how it's going to work. It's in my contract.
so we
I'll
get
be
the
in this
last
movie,
laugh.
but I get to flock someone.
Right. So I mean, those movies got some goofiness, but I like them a lot. I take those two series over like Scream or like Saw any day. I think.
Yeah.
I think. There's something about like there's something about the that time period they were made too. You know, can't really put my finger on it, but it's like that era.
People weren't overexposed back then.
Right.
Right now, it's just you see that, and it's like, oh, whatever. I've seen stuff like that a million times. I have the internet.
Right. I think Rob Zombie was actually the director. House of a Thousand Corpses. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I have not.
It's pretty It's pretty weird. It's like it's got some scary stuff in it, but there's just like so much liquid. There's like blood and goo like all over everything.
What it's like the Shining elevator opened up in the house somewhere.
It's just too much liquid, man. Liquid everywhere.
And there was no mop to be found, OJ.
Right. Did you see? Hold on. Well, this guy's got a question. His name's Nero Must Die. What do you think of classic horror movie remakes like The Thing, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, etc.? And what was the first horror movie that you saw? We actually already answered that. So what's the first horror movie you saw?
It's a really tough to say. When I was young, like even in kindergarten, every single summer my parents worked, and of course I wasn't in school, And so they dropped me off at my aunt's house every day for the summer, and she had every single Nightmare on Elm Street and every single Friday the 13th. So we just watched a random one every single day, all through elementary school. So I really don't remember what was my first one. It was probably a Nightmare on Elm Street, but I can't say which one.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just have to just remember that, you know, the claw and the face and the hat and shit.
Yeah.
This dude's name's Lone Stormtrooper. I'm sorry, I can't read. It says, in the past couple of years, we've seen a resurgence of horror reboots and original titles. What are your opinions of the genre as a whole? Has it become stale because studios can't think of good original concepts, or is the genre still going strong?
For movies, I think it is kind of getting a bit more stale, but it's
Right.
really tough to do something original without being too out there, and movie companies don't want to take that risk.
Right.
They know
I think
if
it's the same
if I
idea
have-
as I think it's the same idea as we talked about the games, where like at one point they made hardcore horror movies that were rated R, and then they were like, wait a second, we're alienating a whole bunch of people. We got to open it up to everyone. And they water it down and try to get more people in the door, even though they don't really show up anyway. So
Another trend I don't like is how things are becoming way too gory, and
Yeah.
Right.
they replace scary with gross, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I agree.
How about like I didn't even see any of these movies, but like there was like that era of it was more psychological stuff like The Ring, and there was a couple offshoots of that. You see any of that stuff?
Yeah, I saw The Ring. I actually have Ju-On and both The Grudge. The Ju-On's a Japanese version.
Right.
And I'm gonna sound like a Japanophile for saying it, but that is really a better version.
Doesn't surprise me. It's better.
Well, it's just the acting in the American one's really cheesy and really bad.
Well, yeah, every single Japanese movie I've seen in you know the Japanese version than the American version, the Japanese version has been much better, and the American version's always been over the top in one way or another.
And in the American, I'm just gonna stick with The Grudge. The American one, they bring the ghosts out like instantly. You already know they're there. In the Japanese one, you don't see them until about halfway through the movie.
Yeah, man, that's how you do it.
They really get into your head. Whereas in the
Right.
American one, it's just like, here it is. Are you scared yet? No. Well, what if I do it again? What about now?
So they feel like people have no patience to wait
Right.
for to see that. I remember certain movies they should reveal I think earlier. Like, I remember seeing the Hulk, the version from like 10 years ago. You know what I'm talking about, John?
Oh wait, the one before what the one with the
I remember all
Australian
the
guy?
screen swipes.
Yeah. So I remember I went to see it in the theater. And the Hulk isn't even like shown for like a good amount of time, maybe like a good half hour, 40 minutes. I remember like 20 minutes into it, this kid starts crying. And he's like, I want to see the Hulk. He's
Aw, man.
crying and shit. The Hulk isn't in it for like a good like 45 minutes, seriously. So I don't know.
But is this the one where it ends in Brazil?
No.
It was the one from
That
like
is
10
with
years ago.
Edward Norton.
No, the one before
Yeah.
the Edward Norton one is the one I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one before Edward Norton?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, totally.
Yeah. But
Poor little child.
all right. I'm trying to see if we got any other questions we can ask here.
I guess back to The Ring. I think the American one on that is actually really good, though. I mean, that whole concept of it, and they never show you what is actually on the screen until the very end.
Cool.
I thought they did that very well.
Yeah, I never actually saw those. I have to maybe check it out.
Really?
like,
Even,
something
I've
that-
actually seen it.
Something that makes you keep thinking. That's a good thing, I think. Whereas the scariness isn't force fed into you. You have to imagine what is actually on that screen that kills you. What are they seeing?
It's like if you don't know what it is, you'll imagine something far worse than anything they could dream up.
All right, I got one more comment here. It's from Joe M. 1234569. He's a friend of the show. He's left messages before. He says, "Do you ever watch any sci-fi mystery shows like the original Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Tales from the Crypt? I just recently finished watching the entire series of the old Twilight Zone and Outer Limits and found them amazing. What's your opinion on the shows?"
I love Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it's great.
Nothing scary about them, but it's just the concepts on them are actually so good.
I
Right.
mean, a lot of them just mess with they mess with you. They mess with the guy on screen. He doesn't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. Not till the end.
Something to be said about that, though. I think a lot of these older movies are scary. Like, it adds to it just because like the black and white aspect
Yeah.
adds a lot to it. For me, I don't know.
Well, it
You
makes
watch
it
like
more
old
unreal.
school, right? If you watch old school horror stuff.
I think
So it
even
was
with like
pretty.
70s style movies, those I think just because the people in them look more genuine, they're not all dolled up
Right.
like in current movies. They
Right.
don't look like they're made out of 50% plastic and had 2 years of cosmetic surgery.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true.
So it's easier to relate to the people back then too.
Yeah, it was also more believable that the stuff could be going on because the technology wasn't where it is now. So it's like they don't have cell phones and all this other stuff. That wait, there's a dude chasing me. I can just send a text to the police office and
Yeah.
Oh no,
track
Signal!
my-
What a coincidence!
I can
that's the
track my
first
Google
thing.
Maps
Yeah.
app.
What's the first thing they have to do? Like in a modern horror movie, is somehow they have to eliminate the communication thing because that's seriously something that everybody's got right now.
And
Yeah.
if they
They
do a
have to
good
find a
job
way
of
around.
actually isolating the person, that's not a problem. But a lot of times it's just have, oh, I left my phone at home, or oh, the battery's dead. I
Yeah,
forgot
the
to charge
battery's
it."
dead's classic. Derp. So
Or
Oh,
not
no,
or,
I
or
didn't
no
know if it was
signal,
like
no
hard
signal.
flash.
dead as they go to call. You know, it's just like really.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
How about Tales from the Crypt? Ever get to that show?
I remember some of it. I really watched it more just for the intros.
Yeah, man, I was about to say that. The intro was awesome, and then it was like, okay, this is pretty good, but yeah, it was all about that intro, man. Badass intro. There was actually a Tales from the Crypt movie, which I saw. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did not know
Me-
there was one.
Yeah, there was. Didn't quite live up to the aura of the show. Had Corey Feldman in there. I think he was like the main character. Um,
Was he the crypt
Dennis,
keeper?
Dennis Miller and Corey Feldman were the main actors in the movie.
In a
so-
horror
Dennis Miller
movie?
was the crypt keeper.
yes, you should watch it. It was funny. But that was a good show. Did you ever watch? This is one for you, coming from left field. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh yeah,
Nickelodeon.
Yes,
I remember the first episode, man.
So you guys watch this?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I used to watch it It was like every Saturday.
I only
On
watched
Snick?
it. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I only watched it really just because of the shows it was in between.
Right. It was pretty. For what it was good. I mean, it was a horror show for kids, which was pretty crazy, but it was entertaining. I thought.
Midnight Society.
All right, I got a question. What
Yeah.
did they throw on the fire on every episode in the beginning? Before they told their story, do you remember that? They'd throw some kind of powder and the fire would just light up.
Did it?
It's
Did, what
obviously-
col-
it's
did it
obviously
stay the same
drugs.
color? Or did it just bill up higher?
don't
No,
remember.
seriously. Because it could have been like something like lycopodium powder or flour. Because that stuff, I remember from science class. Basically, it's if you have a really fine powder and you throw it into a flame, it just ignites in a fireball.
I always like to think it was gunpowder. And they just, watch this. I'm going to blow my hand off.
You gave
I
a
think
bunch
it's
of
some sort
16
of.
give a bunch of 16-year-old gunpowder and set them off by a campfire. Like, have fun, kids.
Yeah, it's obviously some sort of drug, some sort of hallucinogenic that they all, they breathe it in and they have these visions of whatever's going on in the show. That's why I always thought
these
Machine
stories.
was huge.
the truth has been revealed finally. So I think we're going to start wrapping it up. I just want to ask you, do you think what do you think has the potential to cause someone more fear, a horror game or a horror movie?
Absolutely game. Without doubt, a game. If you enjoy games, that is. If you don't like games, then obviously you're not going to like a horror game.
Right.
But it really puts you into the situation. It's more interactive. The person who's trying to kill the character is trying to kill you. You're not watching someone on screen. It puts your mind into the game. But you have to allow your mind to be put in the game too. You can't be playing it and thinking, "Well, it's a game. I can't be scared by a game." You have to allow yourself to be scared, and that's the best advice to anyone wanting to play horror games.
Right. All right, cool. So hopefully there'll be some new horror stuff coming out, the movie side or the game side, that will capture our imaginations, like some of the stuff we talked about. So, any closing words for you as we wrap it up here?
Nope. Just be sure to check me out on YouTube. We're gonna get things back on track. I apologize for a month delay on lack of uploads, but things are getting back to normal now.
Yeah, you can find Grog at youtube.com/GrogDeluxe. OJ, any final comments?
Well, I'd like to thank Grog very much for coming out to talk with us today. I really appreciate that.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's fun.
Oh yeah, it's been good. You've got a really good insight on the horror genre for games and stuff. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming on, sir.
It's
So I
like
just
Halloween
wanna-
for me every day.
Minus the candy.
No.
You,
Lucky jerk.
what are you doing for Halloween? Let me just throw that at you. You dressing up or anything, or you do any specific stuff
Nothing
you do?
planned. My group of guys I hang out with really don't do anything. I convinced them all to go to a haunted house, so then I got to thinking, a lot of high schoolers go to haunted houses, and I'm a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
I'll probably
Well,
get annoyed.
You're bigger than
Troll
them,
them.
though. Just step on them. You're
I
tall.
probably wouldn't fit in most of the haunted houses either because I'm so tall.
That's even better. Just destroy it. Just go-
Scare the people working there. Like,
Yeah.
how's it feel? How's it feel? And just like Hulk smash the walls.
You want to scare people, huh? How about this?
Think it's funny?
Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here. So for Grog, for OJ, my name is John. Thank you very much for listening. Have a very fun and safe Halloween. Don't get arrested. Don't do anything crazy. Just have a good time. Keep it simple. Thank you for listening to John Rowe Presents the Best in Free and Optional Entertainment. We'll talk to you next week. Adios. Goodbye.